Hello and welcome to another edition of the Get Growing Weekly Work Session with GetOiling. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of GetOiling, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hey everyone, really glad you're here today.
And we have the incredible Colin and Julie from our team. Hello, guys.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing, everybody?
And we also have a very special guest with an exciting announcement here, you guys. You know Chrissy from Grow Workspace. Hey, Chrissy.
Hey, hey.
So those of you who don't know Chrissy, let me give you just a little bit of an intro. Chrissy is a leader of really a family of leaders of teams in Young Living, an incredible Young Living family, been in this business for many years and got started quite a while ago, creating amazing content to support their team that grew into incredible businesses that she and her sister now run together. And of course, the core of what they do is they help you to really replicate a lot of the success that they've seen and get around the hurdles, right, that they experience so that you don't have to. And Chrissy has a really exciting opportunity to share with you guys here real quick. So I'll let her take that here at the top, and then we'll get into today's content.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me back again. Gosh, I feel like I'm a regular at least once a quarter. So it seems. You all know the importance of having a website because you're using GetOiling. You want things automated. You want to be growing your email list and getting the word out there about your essential oils. And maybe you even have other offers that you're doing, other things related to essential oils, health and wellness. And so we are offering a class. The first one is happening tonight. We're doing one of 3 live classes. And the class is focused around the science behind creating a professional website that actually gets people to take action and buy. We know that building a website and getting your funnel set up can be a bit of an overwhelming process. Of course, you get great support here at GetOiling. There are some things that we have learned, little tricks and trades along the way that really help guide you in this process so that you're not putting in all of your effort and then actually not seeing results from it. So we are going to cover we have a formula for creating this professional website that actually gets people to buy. It's called the SOLID formula. Each letter stands for something. So we are going to cover that in tonight's masterclass, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can also attend Saturday morning at 10 a.m. or Monday at, I believe it's 1 o'clock Eastern time. It'll be the same class. It will be live. So of course there will be a little bit different variation. If I go off the notes a little bit, but just pick the time and day that works best for you. There will not be a replay. So it's important that you come and attend live. We're going to have some really amazing things happening on there. Again, 3 dates and times: tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And Ashley dropped the link in the chat. So you can go to that page, get some information, click on the date and time you want, sign up for it, and we'll see you there. I'm super excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chrissy. They have incredible training. You guys, if you actually have learned about creating websites from Chrissy and team, drop a comment in the chat. Let folks know how much you loved it. They are experts in using the GetOiling platform. Everything that you're going to learn from this masterclass is something that is directly applicable to what you do in GetOiling. So where you've got an opportunity to learn from people who really get it, and Chrissy has built million-dollar businesses with this formula, you should take the opportunity to learn. So that's getoiling.com/masterclass. You guys go grab that. Thank you so much, Chrissy. And I look forward to seeing you on your masterclass.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Yeah. All right. So yeah, you guys get signed up for that. GetOiling.com/masterclass. Do again, take advantage of this. This is going to be live only, no recordings. And it's just a great opportunity to learn. If you are in a place right now where really creating a website that works for what you want it to work for is what you're working on. All right, so we are going to pop out a video and go and get into our slides for today so that you can come and learn what you came here to learn. So just a quick, here you go, right here, getoiling.com/masterclass. Here, let me fix my share here. GetOiling.com/masterclass. this is what you're wanting to aim for. I think generally speaking, Jennifer, it's an hour. It might go a bit longer, but I think all the details are going to be on this link here, getoiling.com/masterclass. All right, so today, you guys, we are here to talk about systems to support your customers, very specifically what it looks like to offer what we call care calls. Now, care calls are something that you may be familiar with if you are someone who just makes attempts to stay in contact with your customers, make sure that they're being served well, that they're educated well, etc. We're talking about this here today because some of us don't do this at all. And some of us do this so much, we focus so much on our customer support and education that we do it despite what our business needs us to focus on, which is typically going out and finding new customers, right? So we're going to talk about care calls, what they are, how you can engage with them in a way that is incredibly effective without swallowing up all of the time that you really ought to be spending on growing the business, right? We're going to talk about how we can systematize this so that you can get the results that you want. So today we're going to talk about how we can create customers that order like clockwork. We'll talk about what it looks like to provide support without making this a full-time job, this keeping up with customers. I'm going to share with you some resources to create a system like this and how to set it up in GetOiling. And of course, as always, we will have live help and Q&A. All right, so if you have questions as they're coming up, or if you came here with questions that maybe don't even pertain to today's topic, you are welcome to add those to the Q&A throughout this call. You've got 3 super qualified people here, including the founder of and the creator of the software to answer your questions. So go ahead and pop those into the Q&A if you've got them. And of course, if you're watching this as a replay, head over to getoiling.com/weekly work session to get on one of these live calls with us, get live help, work together here, meet your incredible community and more. And if you'd like to work together, we do create this opportunity every single week. You can take advantage of this by going to getoiling.com/website review. This is an opportunity for anyone at any stage of work in GetOiling to get free hands-on help and strategic or technical advice on one of these live Thursday calls that we offer every week, every Thursday at noon US Eastern Time, again, except for US holidays, which by the way, Thanksgiving is coming up. So 2 Thursdays from now, we will not be live. We will have a recording for you. Now, if you would like for someone to do work for you, we've got that opportunity available to you as well. GetOiling.com/concierge is where you can go to learn more about our team and set up a no obligation call to discuss your project. All right, so pop quiz. What's the difference between a customer who orders 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 times, and a customer who orders like clockwork for 1 to 2 or more decades? What is the difference between customer A and customer B? Customer A places 4 orders or 1 order and they ghost, right? Customer B, they order every month for decades. Anybody know? You got a guess? If you read your emails this week, then you know the answer to this. So the difference between these two is not having a cute newsletter or some multi-step text marketing system. And it's not you having the entire Young Living product catalog memorized either. And you don't need to know the chemical constituents of every product or essential oil. You don't have to be a wizard in tech or product or marketing for this to work. It's so much simpler than that. So the question for you, do you remember when the oily light bulbs went off for you? You just got started trying Young Living product and, it might have been a little while, might have been quick. Do you remember when you realized, oh my gosh, I can't live without this product? What product was it? There is a Young Living product you can't live without. It was your first one that you said, oh my God, how can I ever be without this? What was that product? Drop it in the chat. And what problem did it solve for you? What problem did it solve for you? Did it relieve stress for you? Did it help you sleep? Did it help to balance your hormones? What did it do for you? And what goal did it help you achieve? See, we don't typically sit around thinking about these things. What is my origin story with this? And my origin story with this isn't when my friend shared an idea with me that was awesome, and here are these oils. The story that you share that works best is the one where you tried product and it changed your life, right? So what was the product? What problem did it solve? What goal did it help you achieve? So Allison, Gold Star, got this in the chat. That product, that light bulb aha moment product, that was your first hero product. And if you're here today, you are a brand partner. And I do not believe you can be a brand partner without a hero product. I also don't believe that you will be a loyal customer for decades if you don't have a hero product. You probably aren't going to order for more than 6 months if you don't have a hero product. So how long did it take you to find yours? So when we've got PNC, we've got frankincense, Ningxia, Pro Plus, more frankincense. How long did it take you to realize that was your, oh my gosh, I could never be without this. Here's the problem it solved for me. Here's the goal it helped me achieve. How long did that take? Sometimes this is an instantaneous thing, especially if it's an oil, right? Sometimes it could be, Lisa says, less than a month. That's amazing. It could be a lot longer, right? You might go through some things that are okay. You might try a few things. I think for me, I probably ordered at least a few months before I found the one that just lit my light bulb up, which was me sleeping through the night. So how long did that take you? Sometimes it can take a while. So that hero product is the key to creating those customers that order like clockwork every single month. And it takes time. And even more importantly, it takes context, meaning I am using this product so that I can try to solve this problem. I am buying product because I have a problem that I want to solve or a goal that I want to achieve. And I've identified that, right? If I haven't done that, what is the difference between me trying to order something from here or me forgetting to or trying to order from somewhere else, right? So it takes time. There is context to a goal or problem. And then there's consistency and accountability, making sure that we're actually using the product so that it has the opportunity to provide a result, right? And staying accountable so that we actually achieve our goals. So once your person finds it, you have a customer for life. Isn't that what you are? When you found your hero product, you became your sponsor's customer for life, no? So think about everyone that you've enrolled, every customer that you've brought on board. Do they have a hero product? And do you know what it is? So you should know, knowing this, knowing their hero product and the story of triumph of finding it is just as important as you knowing their birthday or their spouse's name, because that hero product, think about yours. It represents something much bigger than a thing that you buy, right? Think about the problem that it solved for you. It can represent success, triumph over failure, relief from pain, hope for something better, empowerment that you took matters into your own hands and saw results, and proof that what you tried works. The hero product story is the reason why people say yes to Young Living, and it's the reason why they stick around. So you need to know yours. You need to get the story going for your people, and you need to know what that story is for your people, just as much as you need to know their spouse's name, the number of kids they have, and whether they have a dog, right? It is so very important. You guys got that? That hero product is the reason that they will be open to trying more products. And of course, it will always be the thing that is in their monthly loyalty order. Or of course, if it's an oil, it takes a little longer to use. It is the reason why they will have loyalty rewards. It is the reason why they will try the next product in line, because this one worked for them. So let's get into this. How do we actually find the hero product? Some of us are lucky, right? Some of us are lucky and it's in our first order and we're like, oh my gosh. That can often be a fluke, just so you know. If somebody is, oh my God, when they get a kit, unless you see them, oh my God, and consistently about the same result for 6 months, then they may just be an excited person. We're going to get into the details of what this really means and how you can reliably find this consistently. So the first thing that you need to know about the hero product and finding it for your customers is that this is part of a holistic system. And I've gone over this in detail recently. And even if you watch this further in the future, this is perennial stuff. This is not something that is going to change with time. This is just stuff that works, period. This is not a fad. This is not, you know, something cute, clever, and new. This is just the tried and true stuff. All right. So we have a series. It's on our YouTube channel. It's called the Brand Partner Pipeline. There is a playlist for this. If you have not watched these, I highly recommend that you watch these in order. Note that while you'll see that they may be an hour or longer, the content of these tends to be in 30 minutes. It's in the first 30 minutes. Okay. So this is, excuse me, the entirety of this will take you less time than a movie to get the full picture. Okay. And this includes resources that you can follow, and it's a simple system. All right. So understand that finding the hero product lives inside of a holistic system that we ought to be following that start with the conversations we have with leads all the way through to working with these care calls. So you'll see the care calls mentioned the most in part 4. So we are actually kind of going into a little bit of greater depth on part 4 here today. All right. All right. So the hero product journey. This is a natural extension of one of the first parts of this holistic process, which is a wellness consult. Now, the training previous to this one, the one we did last week, we actually went into wellness consults in detail. So essentially what happens here is you're having conversations with leads, and your lead shares a goal or a problem with you, and then you offer to share some information with them to help them achieve or solve it. If you sit down together for a wellness consult, you discuss those goals, the pains, the problems, what they've tried in detail, and you share a plan with them for them to solve the problem, achieve the goal with you by their side using products you recommend because you know how to help them. And that plan, of course, includes products that are from Young Living, right? So you're going to offer to guide them on their journey to achieve their goals, solve their problem, and they ultimately say yes. And then you set up their order and you've got a new customer, right? I'm giving you the Cliff's Notes of how this holistic system works here, right? So now that we've got our new customer, what do we do? So let's talk about how we kick off our care call system. Now, again, ideally, you have followed the holistic system that I've just outlined up to this point, where we've had consultative conversations, where we have offered to sit down with them, have a wellness consult with them, and offered to work with them on a plan to achieve their goal, right? They said yes, and you've set them up with the products, the initial products that they are going to get started with. Now what? At the time of sign up, you are going to agree, the two of you, to meet weekly, albeit briefly. These are not hour-long calls. They should absolutely not be hour-long calls. You're going to meet weekly to touch base, to share updates, and to keep accountability toward their stated goals, because it is 99.9% likely that what you're recommending to them for their plan is a little bit more than just use this product, right? It is maybe use this product on this schedule, maybe include different practices, right? And we do get into this a little bit in that brand partner pipeline series, right? Some of the things that you might include. But basically what we're doing is we're creating a plan for them. We are working that plan with them, keeping them accountable to what they say they're going to do. And then of course, you're going to be showing up and encouraging them. So you're going to set up a 90-day meeting schedule, because I mean, people are typically going to find a hero product within 90 days, but it's a nice manageable way to get started. And then you're going to begin meeting once a week for 20 to 30 minutes. And guys, 20 to 30 minutes is all it takes once a week. And you can't even make it briefer than this. You know, 15 to 20 is also totally fine, but I think it's going to feel best at 20 to 30 between the two of you. Now, once we've had our kickoff, we're going to keep it going. Each week, we're going to be asking the same series of questions, and we're going to add notes to their contact in GetOiling. And as you are meeting with them every week, you're going to be tracking things, right? So one of the things that we talk about in the brand partner pipeline is we establish metrics, right? So if somebody has a goal of improving their sleep, right? They're not sleeping through the night, then you're going to suggest that they diffuse. You're going to maybe suggest magnesium, and you might suggest rutabaga or deep night essence, right? You're going to put together this, this sort of suggested use protocol for them. And maybe included with that, you're going to say every day, we're going to turn off our screens an hour before bedtime. We're going to make sure that our last meal is 4 hours before we go to sleep. All of this is stuff that you could literally go to like write with AI or ChatGPT, and you could come up with a suggested sort of formula to follow here. You do not have to be a practitioner to come up with something like this, but come prepared, right? So every week you're going to be saying, of the last 7 days, how many days did you turn off your devices an hour before bed? How many how many days do we succeed at meeting these metrics that we set, right? And then you're going to be looking at the metrics of proof. Things like, how many hours did they sleep? Is that number going up week over week? What's their, I don't know, we'll say their attitude score, right? What's their waking mood? Is that improving week over week? You're looking for and celebrating the wins as they show up. That's a reason why we ask the same questions each week, because we're tracking things that matter and we're putting those notes into their contact and GetOiling. So you know that if this week you are meeting with them, last week they the best sleep they got was maybe 6 hours in a night, right? And that happened 4 out of the 7 nights. And you meet this week and they slept a full 8 hours for the first time in 3 months. That is a win. That is proof that what you're doing is working. And if it happened more than once, that is beyond proof. And they found a hero product or a hero protocol, right? A whole bunch of products. So you're going to be looking for wins. And you need to be able to point those out to them. It's difficult for us to see the big picture when we're the ones going through change. That's why we need coaches. That's why we need support, right? We need others to hold us accountable to what we say we're going to do and what we want for ourselves. And that's what we are to our people, right? So with consistent product use and self-reflection on the metrics that matter, that hero product will appear, but they need a guide to see it sometimes, right? Unless somebody has worked with a wellness practitioner before, or they are one and they know how to track these things, or they're health nerds, you know, sure, if that's the case, they'll find this stuff on their own. For most people, they need your guidance. They need your support, right? So that's what this is all about. So this is pretty simple, right? We're going to meet every week at a set date and time. We're going to basically go over the same questions. Did you do this, that, and that? Did you take this, that, and that? How is this? How is this? How is this, right? Track these things and then see what changes. Celebrate the changes that you see. If you're not seeing changes, make adjustments, right? This is all pretty simple. We could all do this, especially now that AI exists, right? There's so much support that's there. You could do this on your own, right? But let's talk about the reason why a lot of us either don't do this or it's the only thing we do. Taking care of people, especially if you are a yellow personality, a giver, someone who is service-oriented, this can very quickly swallow up all of your available time, right? So how do we provide for this well without it taking over our entire work life, especially when we realize, if you haven't yet, that this process that I've just described cannot, period, end of story, be automated. This is a human to human being present with a human. The only way that this works and you create customers that last for decades is if this is a human connection. Can it happen otherwise? Sure. Is it a fluke? Most likely, right? It's not what you want to base your business on, right? It's not necessarily something that's highly replicable. So this cannot be automated. How do we make it save time? We save time by streamlining using systems and, spoiler alert, resources that are done for you that I've brought here for you today. So the first thing that we are going to talk about in our system that we've created here is a call booking package of 12 calls. That's a 90-day period. Well, it's a little less than 90 days. Your first call with them, the kickoff that I've described here today, is the one that would take it over that 90 days. You are going to, when somebody gets started, you're going to set expectations. You know, we're going to meet so let's just go ahead and decide what is a 20 to 30 minute window that you have available on a weekly basis where we can meet. Right? You're going to ask that. And then you're going to go ahead and let's just say they say, you know, Thursdays at 7 p.m. You are going to go ahead and book out the next Thursday at 7 p.m. for each Thursday for 12 weeks, right? Book all of that at once. It's all on the calendar. Nobody has to remember anything because you're using GetOiling and we've got built-in calendar booking. If they need to reschedule, that link is there. They don't have to coordinate with you, and it's all done. It's ready to go. That is already allocated for your time and theirs. And then, of course, when you meet on each of those calls, you're going to ask the same targeted questions each time. You're going to track the changes that you see. You're going to help them see their wins. This is as simple as that. You're going to meet for 20 to 30 minutes. You're going to ask the same questions. You're going to track what changes, right? So you're going to have this date and time combo that you're going to work out, and you're just going to use that weekly goals check-in. I did already create a 12 call package that's in that resource bundle I've created for you. You plug it right in, and you just go in, and whatever date and time combo they said works, you just go ahead and set up all 12 of them right away, right? And then when you get on your calls, I've actually created a page that you can use in GetOiling for your use. It's internal use only. I've got labeled up at the top of it and in the name of the page. Open this up when you're meeting with your customer for your care calls. Put in all of their information. You're going to add your notes here, because past actions is where our detailed notes go in GetOiling anyway, but we're going to use a form for this because we want to make sure, because we're busy and we do lots of things, we want to make sure that we don't miss any of this stuff every time we meet with our ideal person. So we're going to ask, well, first we're going to, kind of connect and, kind of go through the rapport steps here, catch up with them. How are they feeling? What's life looking like? What's going on with them, right? If you hear opportunities, additional opportunities to serve, more pain points, more goals, write those down. Those are ideas for additional products you might recommend in the future. We don't want to get them distracted necessarily from the goal that they're working on right now, unless it is something that's in alignment. If you make another suggestion or recommendation. You want to track accountability. Did they track their metrics successfully this week, right? Did they actually track whether they slept through the night? So do they know how many hours they slept per night, every night this week? Did they track their mood, right? What were they tracking? If they are not tracking the metrics that you set up successfully, you might consider adjusting them, right? Maybe this is a little bit too ambitious. Maybe you need to simplify it, right? So list the metrics that were tracked, list the products that they're using and how they're using them, what changes were observed this week. Ask them. So when you ask them how things are going, tell me more about that. Ask that for each of the things, right? Each of the things that they are sharing with you. So tell me more about that. Tell me more about that needs to be something that you say at least 3 or 4 times on this call every time you speak with them. And then accountability and tension. So how can we make this week better than last week? This is a question that you can ask directly to your customer, right? So you've gone through, how you doing? What's going on? What'd you track this week? Let's look at those changes. How are you feeling about that? Tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. How can we make this week better than next? Or better than last, rather. And then any additional notes that you have. So you can actually have this open. It's basically prompting you to ask everything that needs to be asked on this 20 to 30 minute call. And you add your notes. When you log notes from the call, it's going to go into your contacts card and GetOiling. So it's there for you to look at before you get on the next call with them, right? So you can say, hey, you know what? Last week, it looked like we were struggling a little bit with X. How did that go this week, right? You can be much more targeted and spend much less time if you're following a system like this. All right, so these, like I mentioned, are already made for you. They are in the resource bundle that went out with today's email. We'll pop that into the chat here shortly as well. Let me go ahead and cover a couple of quick questions before we go demo. What if they don't find a hero product inside of that 12 weeks? I've seen this question come up before. What if a hero product doesn't appear? So the first thing you should know is that this is kind of unusual. If they're actively using product and tracking, you guys are tracking metrics that matter to their goals, right? We have to start with a goal that matters to them, right? That's the reason why they would have gotten started in the first place, right? There's a goal that matters to them, and we are using product and following protocols to meet it, right? So you are tracking, and where you see positive changes, you are celebrating wins. If we are following this system, you are the majority of the time going to find a hero product inside of 90 days. So you want to be asking, am I tracking the right metrics for their goals? Are they using the product as consistently or in the way that is advised? Do they need to maybe use it differently? Is the protocol complicated, right? Is what we're tracking too advanced? Was this a little bit too detailed or ambitious? Can we dial it back? It's better to get a little win than a big loss, right? It's a big loss of time if we don't have anything to show for it. And even a little something to show for it is better than nothing, right? So we might want to simplify. And remember, every win, if they, if their goal is to sleep through the night, and one of the things that they were tracking is whether or not they woke up, right? How many times did you wake up in the middle of the night? The very first time that number goes from 3 to 2, you celebrate that. That number goes from 2 to 1, you celebrate that. That number goes to 0, you lose your mind, right? We're celebrating the little things. And, if you need to, you can go and reapply that 12-week booking package and just keep working with your person 20 to 30 minutes. You have to think about the size of the goal that they're aiming for. And we need to be able to set expectations for this, right? And that's why these little wins need to be celebrated. What somebody might discover along the way is that if they are struggling with sleeping and you're working on sleep, they may start to lose weight that they wanted to lose that they aren't actually working on with you. And they might discover that these are hero products for more than one reason. So you got to be looking for those wins. And we have to be, this is why we can't automate this. We have to be present in order for that to work. All right. So you might also ask, I've seen today how I can get new customers started right. What if I want to get my current customers started this way? All right, I have a resource for you as well, but let's talk about this. Moving existing customers over to a care call system like this. I want to caution you because I did create a page where someone can fill out a form and intake and book a call with you, et cetera, just like a wellness consult. I want to caution you from blasting a link like that out to your existing customers. If you want to be successful about getting your existing customers on board with a different way of interacting with you and Young Living, you have to go back to the drawing board. You have to have a conversation with them so that you can understand their goals, just as if they were a lead. So you would approach them just like you would a lead, connect, build rapport, look for opportunities to serve, right? And then offer when you hear that opportunity to serve for you two to work together to solve a problem or achieve a goal. You are basically just reaching out to existing customer and treating them like a lead, just like I teach in this holistic 4-part system in that brand partner pipeline. All right. So you're going to offer to work together to solve a problem, to achieve a goal. And if they say yes, which they usually will, you're going to apply that same booking package, that 12-part booking package, or you can share that intake form that's also included in this resource bundle to gather information from them and schedule your first call. All right. Like this one, right? This is almost identical to the one that I shared with you guys last week, except there is one question in here that is important to include where you're sending this to an existing customer. What Young Living products do you currently use regularly and how do you use them? Young Living doesn't share with us what products our customers use. And that's important for privacy purposes. People need to be able to opt in, right? To disclosing our purchasing habits, right? Or at least we should. We live in a world where that's not true about most things, but Young Living is getting this thing right. So you get to ask this question. This is actually, it's really important for you to have these conversations so that you know what your customers are using, so that you can make better recommendations for them and see them really maximize the potential of using Young Living products, right? So make sure that you are using this if you are approaching an existing customer to begin working with you. So you propose, hey, let's get together. Let's work on this goal that you have together. I'm going to send you this form. Let's go ahead and fill this out, book our first call, and then we'll be off to the races, right? And by the way, when they fill out this form, the page that I've created for you, it is automatically going to add them to that 12-part call booking package, where you can go ahead and go in and set up that date and time combo that they want. All right. So here's our resources. I do actually have, when you claim that resource bundle, a pretty detailed sort of outline here as to how you use it for new customers versus existing. For new customers, we're only using the first two resources. That's the calendar booking package and the internal use only page. The wellness consult landing page is something that you would use, again, on a one-on-one basis for existing customers. So let's go take a quick look at this and we'll get into any of the questions that you guys might have. Let me get over here real quick into GetOiling so I can show you. All right, so our resource bundle here today, let me grab this real quick and show you. All right, I'm going to pop this into our chat as well if you don't have this yet. All right, so what you're going to do first is you're going to grant permission for the system bundle library to see that you claimed it. You're going to claim the bundle, and then you'll have these 3 different resources to consult. So I'm going to go ahead and claim this. And then you'll see that we have these different things that link in. So I do explain this in this lower paragraph here. When you claim this resource, this wellness consult landing page for customers, it is also going to include a wellness consult confirmation campaign and a wellness consult confirmation page. If you claimed those resources last week, go ahead and open these up and delete them, because you can use the ones that you already have. So I'm actually going to go click this and delete it. I'll show you exactly what I do here. I'm just going to go to settings for this campaign. And I'm going to click delete because I already have a copy of this from last week. Right? And I'm going to go ahead and grab this wellness consult confirmation page as well and delete it. Because again, I can use the exact same one that I got last week from this similar bundle. So you can reuse those resources for this. Okay, now let's get into setting this up and using it. The first thing you want to make sure that you do is go into this call booking package and make sure that you have it set up correctly. So here, this is the calendar I'm using. We've got the duration set up correctly. This doesn't need to be modified, but what is very important for you to modify is actually right down here under scheduling settings. This is where you're going to want to go ahead and put in your availability. If this is not applied, then these resources are not going to work for you. You do need to attach your availability, your schedule. You might want to give limitations on how far people can book into the future. In fact, I'm actually going to go 90 days in the future because this is a 90-day set of calls. I'm going to give a minimum notice of maybe 4 hours, buffer time, maybe 30 minutes before and after. Other things on my calendar, I'm going to check against my other calendars. And in terms of cancellations and rescheduling, I'm only going to allow them maybe 4 hours or 8 hours. That's my preference, but you can allow changes anytime. You just, generally speaking, I hold an expectation for myself and for others that unless it is an absolute emergency, you should be giving someone that you plan on meeting with that day many hours, right? Like there's something else that they could be doing in that time, right? We want to be polite, so let's encourage others to do the same. I actually personally don't like for anyone to cancel more than 4 hours. Again, you can make exceptions where somebody has, you know, a real emergency, right? So I'm going to put 4 hours here. And we don't have to worry about too much that happens here because we're going to be using this internally. So I'm going to save this call package. Oh, and one more thing you can do. Email reminders. I'm giving one 72 hours in advance and 24 hours in advance, as well as 1 hour in advance. And then text reminders, I'm only giving 1 hour in advance. Okay, so I'm going to save this. And let's go take a look as well at our intake page, or sorry, not our intake page, but our notes page. So you'll see that there is nothing to see here except for the form. When we preview it, you'll see what all is here, including that this is for internal use only, right? So you're never, ever going to share this or show this anywhere. This is not going to show up on your website in any way. If we go to settings, you can see that this is only available by link, right? And you're not sharing this link with anyone. So here are my care call notes. We're going to get back to this here in just a moment. I'll show you what it looks like to fill that out. But let's go ahead and apply this, this package to a contact. All right. So I'm going to go, here's my customer. Here we go. I've got my customer here. I'm going to enroll this customer on this 12-week call package. So I'm going to go right here to this weekly goals check-in. That's what it's called. All right, so that's added. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do, since let's just pretend we're on our first call together, right? Where we're, you know, I've just been signed up for, I've just placed my order. I'm getting to know all the resources. And now we're saying, all right, what is a good date and time combo for you on a weekly basis for us to meet? Like, what's a 20 to 30 minute window that you have available on a weekly basis? And I say that that is going to be Mondays at 2 p.m. All right, so here's my Monday, 2 p.m. And I'm going to schedule it. And I'm going to go and I'm going to repeat this. I'm going to book another call in this package. And I'm not giving this to the customer. I am doing this, right? I'm not relying on them to do it. I'm doing it. And I'm just going to go through, I'm going to repeat this for all the calls in the package. So every Tuesday or Monday, sorry, every Monday at 2 p.m. Monday, 2 p.m. So I'm just going to go through and repeat this. So you get the gist. Go set up all of these calls. If we go back to their contact, you can actually see how many of the calls have been booked. We go back down here, 3 of 12. Get this to 12 of 12, okay? Book all of those calls with your customer. They're going to get reminders 72 hours in advance. So if they must change, that is enough time for them to, like, if, you know, something came up with their kid or whatever, they can change that to Tuesday at a time that works for you, and they don't have to coordinate with you for it. Okay. So get all of that set up. Now I am going to, when it's time for me to have my first call with this customer, I'm going to go over here to my booked meetings and I'm going to click start. And I am actually, before I click start, I'm going to go over into my pages and I am going to open up this page, right? So I'm going to fill this out and I'm going to add my notes, right? And you can, just quick note here, you can actually drag these down if you have a lot to say. Okay. Did they track accountability? What did they track? They tracked this, right? What are they using? Put all the details in. You're spending this time, jot the notes down for yourself while you are on the Zoom call with them. Write these notes in, right? And then before you log the notes, just go ahead and, you know, maybe after you get off the call, give yourself a few minutes to fill this out the rest of the way. And once you've done that, you can log the notes from the call. Oh, oops. Got to put something in here. You log the notes from your call, and then you can actually pop right over here to your customer. Let me go and find her again. And under past actions, here's your care call notes from the 14th. And we've got all these notes. So the next time, right, when it's time for my next meeting with them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and review the last care call notes here that I put in, so that when they share something with me, maybe I even have this open in a new tab, or I take a screenshot of it or something like that. So I can look at this, and as I'm adding the new notes, as I'm asking these questions of them, I can see this is what's different, right? Here's what's new. Here's what's different. Congratulations. That's amazing. How does that feel? Tell me more about that, right? All right. So that is basically the gist, right? You are booking all of the meetings in the package series. They can rebook as needed. Make sure that you've got your calendar set up. And then when it's time to meet, you're going to fill out this form. And you're going to track the changes that you put into here week over week. Now, we do have training as well that you may choose to also maybe use the progress tracker right here. And we do have training on the progress tracker. Just go to the Success Academy over here under live training and replays, type in progress tracker, and it will actually take you straight to a training that goes into some depth on that topic. There you go. This one right here. Now, one more thing. If you are someone who wants to get your your existing customers started, this page, if you saw last week's training, it's going to look very familiar to you. You can make whatever modifications to this page that you want. I made 2 key changes. One of them is I've specified that we are getting a plan in place to achieve their goals using Young Living products. I'm not going to use this with a non-customer because the non-customer has absolutely no care in the world as to whether or not Young Living has something to do with their success. But somebody who is actively buying Young Living wants to be successful with Young Living products, right? So I've changed the language only here and over here on this fields and booking on lead capture form. So here's this one, what Young Living products do you currently use and how do you use them? Now, there is a discovery call calendar booking that's included right here. This is going to be one, you can use the same one that you use for your leads that we talked about in last week's training. And so essentially what's going to happen here, we'll just look at the preview of this, is after you have had a chat with your customer, they say, yeah, I would love for some help with getting my last 20 pounds off of me. And yeah, let's work together for 90 days to do that. Okay, great. So head over here and fill out this form. They fill all of this out. And then they're also going to book a date and time with you. They're going to schedule their first session. And what's happening on the back end here, if I get back to this page, is when they book, after they register, they are also going to, just make sure you have this connected here, they're going to get access to this weekly goals check-in package, right? So they're going to automatically have access to that. You can then, of course, get together with them and set up all of those dates and times, just like you would if they were a new customer, because that is the key. If you want your existing customers to get the success that new customers could by creating that context and working together toward a goal, you just treat them just like you would treat a new customer. All right, Stacy says, if we haven't created those templates, can we start from today's bundle resource? 100%. You can use just what I've shared with you today to achieve this. All right, let's see. Donna says, 3 months of wellness, grow workspace has a class, a title recommending replace toxic product, cleansing trio, Ningxia Red. Should I follow this before suggesting products for their specific problem? Rationale is that following steps 1 through 3 might improve their problem. Yeah, 100%. Like the way that you go about helping someone to address a stated goal or problem that they have shared that they have, use the resources that you have access to and that you're confident and comfortable in working with. So if you say, if what you're dealing with is X, then I know that if we do these 3 things, then you will see results. The only reason why that might not work, Donna, is that what we're addressing there is large, right? Replace toxic products. If the budget is right and someone is super open-minded, you can do a ditch and switch in the whole house in an order in a month, maybe, but it's kind of a larger project, right? Cleansing trio is something that's going to be, I think, a little bit more specific to people with particular health concerns. If someone is otherwise healthy and maybe they don't understand the benefits of cleansing trio, it might not be as effective to approach them with that. Now, obviously, there's always context for recommending Ningxia Red, and getting people hooked on Ningxia Red is one of the top priorities we should have, period, because it is going to be baseline supportive on 9.9 out of 10 issues that anyone comes to you with. And it is product that is unique to Young Living, that they can't really compare to anything that's anywhere else, right? So it's a compelling product. So sure, you could do that. I think that is really something that is maybe better for a rabbit hole deep dive for people who have found a hero product and know that they're sticking with Young Living, because that then provides them with opportunities to explore more in a guided way. But if somebody doesn't know why they would stick with Young Living yet, I would actually err on the side of trying to stay in more direct context with a problem that they've shared with you. Does that make sense? Are text reminders now working? If they aren't working, then definitely reach out to support. I don't see why they wouldn't be. Yeah, maybe I don't know if team who does all the magic, the support inbox have any input on that. Hi, Colin. Are you aware of text reminders working or not working right now?
They should be working.
Okay.
So yeah, just shoot me an email and I'll double check your account.
Awesome. All right. Allison says, you may have answered this, but what are the blue numbers in the field, in the to-do field? I see 7 and 12. Allison, could you tell me a little bit more about where you saw that? Is it in the resource that I provided to you? Just not really sure I understand what you're asking. Okay, Donna says, question, trying to figure out how to fit numerous people in my schedule to meet on a weekly basis. Right now, I either do bi-weekly or bi-monthly. So, I mean, you would keep it brief, right? So, Donna, in your case, you're going to want to work on being super efficient, right? So you can actually accomplish this in 15 minutes. You could accomplish this in 10, right? Where we're saying, what did you track? How's it going? What are you using? Where do you feel like you're succeeding? How do you feel like we could do this differently or better, right? And then look for the celebration, see if they have questions, right? And of course, if they need to pick up, you know, for a little bit longer, et cetera, then of course, you can explore that. If you are working very efficiently, and this is something like maybe you keep a busy schedule and you do some amount of coaching in the work that you do generally, you can actually accomplish this in a 15-minute call. Absolutely, on a weekly basis. So you can shave it down and keep it really targeted, right? Remember that these calls are not open-ended. That's why we're using that form. That's why we're keeping things streamlined. I want you to be able to have tons of these calls and still have tons of time to do everything else, right? So that's really the idea. And you're only doing this 12 times, right? And once they find their hero product, they are like this close to not just like having loyalty rewards forever, but sharing Young Living and talking about the products that they're using, right? So this is also, I would implore a really, really effective and worthwhile use of time. It is time and it's worth it. Okay, yeah, Adrian, definitely let us know after you've confirmed with client. Okay, on the past to-dos, notes from the call. So that probably, Allison, I'm not entirely sure. I can just take a look real quick at the customer here. This is, I mean, this is separate from what we're talking about here today. So there is a little bit of overlap if you're using the follow-up plans that come from the brand partner pipeline training, in which case, like, you could just go ahead and check this stuff off, right? Because I've added notes from the call, right? So you're still doing the things that we set out to do in the first place. You're still checking these things off. It's just, you know, you're using something that's making it easier for you to get it done more often. All right. Yes. So I mean, keeping the call short is really just follow that system. So Donna, if you set, and it's for everybody, it's not just Donna, because keeping these calls short, I think is the most, it's probably one of the most difficult things that we're wrapping our heads around collectively right now here. Right. And the way that we do this is to first, at the outset, we're going to meet. So if you have a goal, state the goal. Here's our plan to reach the goal, right? We're going to meet for 12 weeks to make sure we're sticking to the plan and that the plan is working. And, you know, and at the end of those 12 weeks, we're going to see where we're at and evaluate and see where we need to go from there, right? So if you've set those expectations, then people should know that we aren't getting on these calls to, you know, share our entire personal histories, right? Maybe that's why the initial call that you have can be 30, 45 minutes, but that's with a new customer, right? Or that's with a customer that you are maybe getting restarted. These are worthwhile investments of time if we're doing this in a targeted, not open-ended way, right? And so when you hop on your call that you expect to be 15 minutes, you say, all right, let's get right to it. Let's get to it. And then you run the call. You run the call. You ask the questions. You celebrate the wins. And of course, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to keep it short in the beginning, but you'll get there. And you'll get there quickly with frequency the more you do this. Let's see. Yeah, so it's not, so Allison, you can do this without it being an hour-long call if you create the structure and the expectations in the first place. And this begins with you having a conversation with them that is contextual to a goal that they say that they have, and that they have shared with you why they have it, why they want to solve it, right? You remember last week in the wellness consult training, we were going over the questions that we ask. Every single one of them is the same on the one that we're using here for existing customers, with the exception of what Young Living products are you using. And one of those questions after what's the goal is like, or what's the problem? What is not having this problem solved doing for you, doing to you, right? What is the implication of not solving this problem? So you not only know that there's a problem, you know that there is a weight to getting it solved. There's an urgency potentially to getting it solved, and you get to lean into that and focus on that, right? We certainly don't expect them to spend their entire lives trying to solve this problem, and I don't believe that they should be expecting that of you either. If you are working as a wellness coach, then they could certainly pay you in that capacity for longer consults. But what you're doing is you're serving as an accountability coach. That's what this is. You aren't their doctor. None of what we're doing here is playing doctor to our people. That is 100% not the way to do this. What we're doing is saying, here are the best practices I'm aware of. And I believe that if we do this, we'll start to see some pretty incredible results if we can agree to meet and stay consistent with this for 90 days. I'm here to do that with you. You ready to get started? They say yes, then you follow through, right? And again, they're not that you're not prescribing medicine, right? You are not here to catalog every single symptom that they have. Definitely make note of those. And you can practice responses like, all right, I'm making note of that. We can get to that, right? Or we will get to that. You could also create context here. If the problem that they have maybe sits inside of a larger one, you can say, let's focus on getting this one solved. And I'm confident that we are able to address these additional problems as we progress, right? Sometimes positive change, often, in fact, positive change has a domino effect. So I believe that we'll see some results if we stay consistent on this path, right? So that's kind of the point here. You're keeping them on track. You're setting a simple process to follow, and you're helping to keep them accountable, and you're helping them to understand and pay attention to what matters so that they know that what they're doing is even working. Most people don't even know how to know what they're doing is working, right? I'm thinking about a trick that I was taught one time about, I don't know, for those of you who are married to a man, getting them to adhere to a protocol that is, that requires, sorry, Colin, close your ears, to adhere to a protocol on a consistent basis, to see a result where we're talking about like the application of holistic health, et cetera. Unless he is already a complete health nerd, he's not going to do it. He's not going to follow it. And so like there are little things that you can do to just kind of like, I don't know, you're running a diffuser with a particular thing in it at a certain time of day, et cetera. I don't want to get too far out in left field here, but basically what I'm saying is that you could say, do this at the same time every day. And if there isn't a miraculous shift in 2 weeks, your guy's going to be like, why am I doing this? Or I don't know, maybe I'm just married to a very impatient person. But if we could say, hey, listen, here are the things we're going to look at, right? What I want you to do every day is say, here's how many hours I slept. And I'm looking at my wearable to tell me how many hours I slept. And I'm going to rate myself a 1 out of 5 on my mood when I wake up. Do those 2 things for me every morning, please. Right? And then make sure before you go to bed, you're turning off your devices, an hour before, and your last meal is 4 hours before you go to sleep. And of course, you're using these products. So here's a checklist. Do this checklist. Here are the things we're tracking, and let's get together every week and take a look at it. That can win over someone like my husband. So that'll work for anybody. If it'll work for him, it'll work for anybody, is kind of what I'm saying. All right, is there a way to track mileage by the calendar appointment address? Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, actually, the way that I would see that working potentially would be like more of a thing on your phone, right? So when someone books an appointment with you, and there's a particular address in place, although I don't think we have an address field for where that goes. And we don't have a person inputs location at this point. So I don't know that that's something that's going to work with our calendaring system as it's currently set up. But as you create these events where you're meeting with folks, what I would do is just make sure that you have a Google Calendar set up. And then when you have these events appear in your Google Calendar, you can go into modifications, right? Or even an Apple Calendar. It's not just Google, because I do this all the time. If it's an in-person event, there's the event, it has the address, etc. But then there's a travel time option, and you get to specify the starting address. That will say how much time it is. And then of course, if you're popping that into your phone, I don't know, it's not going to be a direct integration with GetOiling. But if you are using a smartphone, there are very easy ways to connect this. Oh, well, looks like that made sense to you. Good. All right, glad we can help. All right, I really hope this is helpful to you guys, and that you get started with this this week. Donna says, I have lots of people with 0 PV who are no longer ordering. Some of these people I've never met. What's the most efficient strategy to connect with all of these people? One at a time. It really is. It's one at a time. So what you could do, if it's, if it's a whole lot of people, I would start with the ones that you personally enrolled, because that's going to be the easiest ones to connect with, because there is some kind of a personal relationship, or there was at some point. If there are people who are in your organization that were maybe initially served by someone else who's maybe not around or not working that leg anymore, then you can maybe reach out. You could do an email, like a larger email to a group of people and say, hey, I just wanted to make sure that you know that I'm here to help you, but that's not going to be anywhere near as effective. Right? So there's efficient and there's effective. An efficient use of time would mean blasting an invitation out to all of those people to have a wellness consult with somebody that they don't know. That's an efficient use of time, but isn't an effective thing to do. It's not. The effective thing to do would be to set aside a block of time and just start dialing these people, right? Find them on social media and start sending messages and connecting with them. Oh, just a little bit at a time, Donna. And always remember really that remember that the best is in front of you, right? People will reactivate if you're being consistent with, showing up and sending out, your newsletter on a monthly basis, and maybe including in that newsletter, hey, I'm offering wellness scans. If you're showing up consistently in their inboxes and they have an opportunity to get to know you in that virtual hands-off setting, they will become increasingly more open to maybe having a conversation with you if they don't know you. So if you're staying virtually present, if they are ever going to engage with you and reactivate, they will eventually, right? But you got to be focused on the people who are ready to solve a problem right now. And if you're showing up in their inbox consistently, presenting yourself as someone who can help them solve a problem right now, they will solve the problem for you and reach out to you. Right? So make sure that you're staying present and emailing your list. But outside of that, you got to be focused on growing new plants in the field, right? Sowing new seeds. Don't focus on what's in the past. Some will, some won't. So what? Keep moving, right? So deep breath, oil up. You got this. It'll be good. All right. Are you saying it's best to stick with one problem at a time? Yes. Generally speaking, yes. And if the problem is a very large and difficult to solve one, you might consider chunking that out as well, right? So again, we're not approaching this like doctors, because we're not. And even if you are not a practitioner of Young Living products, and that's not how we're supposed to present and promote product, right? So yeah, stick with one problem. So if somebody comes to you and they say, I have problem A, and it's like this huge overarching thing, do a little bit of research into what that problem is and see what some of the most, or even just ask them, you know, what does that look like for you, right? What's difficult about that for you? And then you can start solving the solvable things, right? So if they have a legit large health condition, so let's just say they've got an autoimmune diagnosis, we're not going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to cure your Hashimoto's. That's ridiculous. Don't do that, right? You can. I'm in remission, yay. But you can do it, but that's not the promise that you're making. You can say, I achieved that myself, but you can say, you know, if they came to you again with this as being an example, so it's likely that you are struggling with things like weight gain and, you know, and maybe stress and sleep. You know, tell me more about how those are feeling for you, what those are looking like for you, and then you can create a plan, right? We're gonna tackle one thing, because I mean, we're talking about 12 weeks. That's not long enough to build a lifelong habit. We're just getting it started. We're finding the hero product. They build the lifelong habit on the hero product because they don't want to let it go. All right. Okay, good. You email every week and you do the live classes 2 times a month. That's fantastic. I'm glad you're doing that. That's going to provide people ample opportunity to see that you're there if they want help. Don't worry yourself about it if they don't. If they don't, they don't. That's fine. Still make a point to try to reach out and touch everyone once who's inactive. And then just prioritize those new conversations. If you're looking for someone who's looking for you right now, don't worry yourself about people who decided that they're done looking, because you're not going to convince them. They have to be ready. They have to be looking. And that's what you're looking for. Okay. Incredible questions today. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you get started with this system, get your people engaged, and really with every new customer, you've got that opportunity in that first 12 weeks to create somebody who will stick around for 10 years. So if your next 10 customers are 10, 20, 30-year customers, it's worth the hours to put in to get their hero product found. So I hope you guys get into that this week. I look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, I hope you have a great week, everybody.